Do you recognize that gazebo right there? Last fall, I interviewed two of my female coworkers who were single, and I asked them what they find attractive in men. They didn't mention hair loss. They mentioned instead a guy being funny and being charming and having ambition about his life and being kind and complimenting her. That's what they said. And then at the end, I said, what about a balding guy? And they laughed and said, that doesn't matter. And they both admitted they've dated balding guys. One of the girls even dated a guy before he had hair, and then I think she dated him again later when he didn't have hair. Okay? So with that being said, hang on. Did I just see? Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I heard this pop up on the comment tree. Whatever I was talking about, hang on. I just received a comment from that video. That's funny. Okay, so two single girls' honest opinion on balding men. Yeah, and this video has got over 9,000 views. It's a pretty popular video. B-Tech Kumar, here's what he just said. Quote, LOL, that's stupid of you to interview women on camera about hair loss. Of course they are lying. Of course they're lying. That's what Kumar says. What's funny is there's a comment on the back of this one. It says, it's for the video I made last weekend. Haven't lost most of my hair yet, but I still look bad. All right, follicle 8. I like the concept of not taking stock in your hair as part of your self-worth. However, can you do a video on the fact that it's easier to say when you're married, but what about us guys who still need to find a partner, and the huge barrier attraction is when we're balding? It's hard not to put a lot of stock in our hair when it's a big part of our image. End quote. Okay, yeah, let's do that. You know, and one of the things I've recently talked about too is how your priorities change as you get older. And as your identity changes as a man who's losing his hair, you have to make a decision. Are you going to evolve with your image, or are you going to stay behind, still thinking like a guy who has a full head of hair when really he doesn't? You have to accept that new identity, and if not, you get left behind, and it's going to hurt you, right? So I've mentioned that before, but I'm still going back though to the thing about that the girls are lying. You know, I'm very familiar with that video and the comments it gets. Again, it's got over 9,000 views, and it's like the same rerun comment I get. By the way, can you tell I'm sweating? It's Tennessee in the middle of July, and yeah, it's hot and humid out here. No apologies for that. But it's interesting though, because most of the comments on that video about the two single girls' honest opinion about balding men, most of the comments are saying that the girls are lying. That the girls are lying because they don't want to seem vain on camera, and they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay, but I'm all about logic. I should have probably been an attorney. But let's use that logic. If the girls are lying when they say that hair loss doesn't matter, then does that mean they're lying about the other stuff they said? Because the majority of that video was not about hair loss. The majority of the hair loss is what they honestly believe to be attractive in men. And they said he has to be funny, he has to be kind, he has to have ambition. Those are the things they actually said. He has to have a good smile. Things like that. So if they're lying about the part that hair loss doesn't bother them, are they lying when they say those things matter as much as they do? If we had a huge circle and made like a pie graph out of it, and let's say hair, I don't know, how much do you think your hair matters to you when you're young and balding? Do you think it matters a third, a half, 3/4, a quarter? However much of that you believe is holding you back from being attractive. But if they're not lying, that means in their mind, they really are telling the truth, that all these other things matter. So here's what that implies to me is, I've got a lot of young viewers with less hair than me who put all this stock in the thing that, if the girls are being honest, doesn't matter at all. And what that means is instead, they're not putting stock in the thing that actually matters, which is being funny, being kind, having ambition. So when we're talking about this major barrier, well, of course you've got a barrier. If you're not funny, if you're not kind, if you're not charming, if you don't have a good smile, if you don't have ambition, see, that's the thing. But maybe if you're so worried about your hair loss, it's hard to focus on the things that the girls actually want out of a guy. Let me close with this thought. Let's imagine that standing beside me right now is a clone of me right now. He looks just like me. He's like my doppelganger. He looks just like me. He's the same height as me, but we have less hair in this version of reality, where we're 21 years old. And in this version, or 18, 17, whatever age you need this to be to relate to you, we're that age, okay? But we have like a Norwood 4 to 5 thing going on, so we're basically having to shave our head. We don't have hair, but we just clean it up. We're young, and he's standing right next to me. We're in the same room. We see a girl across the room. And he says to me, man, I wish I could ask that girl out, but she'll never go for me because I'm too bald and I'm too young. And he even mentions too, that girl's tall. She's like 5'11". She's like Taylor Swift height. Of course, we're only 5'9", so she's taller than us on top of that. It makes it even worse. He says, I could never ask her out. She'd never say yes. I'm too bald, not to mention I'm too short. And to which I reply and I say, are you sure about that? Are you sure that in this alternate version of reality where I'm single and 21 and balding and look exactly like this other guy who won't ask her out, you're sure about that? He says, oh yeah, I don't have a chance. And then I say, okay, if you're not going to, then I am. I proceed to walk up to the girl. I immediately compliment her because girls love compliments. I then charm her with my humor. Maybe I'm a little bit dorky and cheesy as I try to joke around with her. But ultimately, she sees that as confidence. So now she sees this guy who compliments her, who's charming, who's funny, and he makes her feel comfortable. And as the conversation evolves, now let's assume I'm 21, so I'm not done with college yet or whatever. And she asks me, you know, what I'm studying or what I'm planning to do. And with ambition and passion, because females are attracted to passion. With passion, I tell her all about my plans, what I'm studying to do, what I'm planning to do with my life. I'm not saying, I don't know, no, I have a plan. She is so attracted to all those things. I'm charming, I'm funny, I've got a plan. I compliment her. And sure enough, by the end of the conversation, I've just asked her out. Now we've got our first date set up. I go back to the guy, way back over there by the tree. And he's like, well, how'd it go? I said, well, I'm going out with her next weekend. He's like, how'd you do that? You're as young as I am, you're as short as I am, you're as bald as I am. Women don't like bald guys. I said, well, she's gonna go out with me. That's how I see you. I know that you see me as a man in his mid-30s who hasn't experienced as much balding, who's married. I know that that's how you see me, so therefore I can't relate to you. But in reality, this is what actually happens in the comment section of my videos. The majority of younger, balder guys are like the guy who stayed back at the tree and wouldn't ask the girl out. The minority of you are the version of me that actually asked the girl out and I made it happen. The minority. Because most people, and this goes for balding, this goes for anything in life, the majority of people aren't willing to do what it takes to outsmart the system and to get ahead. Most people aren't willing to do those things. They have a barrier that gets in the way, which is themselves. Meanwhile, the minority says, well, if that's everybody else's problem, it's not to be my problem. And I always say, show me a balding man who can't, and I'll show you a balding man who can. Outsmarting the system. Now, out of my subscribers, 1,700, right? I think out of you who are younger and are balding and feel that hair loss is a barrier, I feel like the majority of you are the guy back at the tree. I feel that those of you have commented and said, Nick, thanks for the videos. Don't stop making the videos. You have convinced me my hair loss really isn't that big of a deal. You guys are the majority who say that. You guys get it and are going to move on with your life and be just fine. That's how I see you guys as my subscribers. I don't really see any in between. I think you're either the guy that stays back at the tree, or you're the girl, or you're the guy that just goes for it and charms the girl and makes her laugh and proves to her that she's ambitious. You're the guy that basically you're attractive to her in the ways that it actually matters to her, not in the way that it matters to you.